Hey y'all, welcome back to my YouTube channel. As always, my name is Carolyn Hefner. I have been running Medspa ads on Meta and Instagram for the last 6+ years. I've been running ads in general on Meta and Instagram for the last 12+ years. And today I want to take some time and talk about something that I keep seeing all over the place. I'm using my new microphone, so I'm praying that it doesn't turn off because I don't know how charged it is. I want to talk a little bit today about AI ads that I am seeing all over YouTube every single time I log on to YouTube and try to play a video. Every single time I log on to Facebook, more and more as I log on to Instagram. And I want to talk about using AI ads in aesthetic medicine, in your marketing, in your ads, in your med spa, in your medical weight loss practice. I believe so strongly that you should not be using these ads in your marketing if you are a med spa and if you are a medical weight loss practice, and here is why. I also want to mention, if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and hit subscribe. My goal is to hit 200 subscribers by the end of February. It is February 16th and we're like 2 subscribers away, so please go ahead and hit subscribe. So first things first, I want you to think about what your patients need to hear from you and need to see from you before they book with you, right? They need to feel like they can trust you, okay? Trust equals revenue, okay? And I want you to know that I am not anti-AI. I feel some type of ways about some things as it relates to AI. I do use some ChatGPT for my business. I use it for organizing my thoughts and my notes and things like that. But I am anti-AI as it relates to credibility, right? Because your goal as a provider, as a medical weight loss provider, as a med spa owner, as a nurse practitioner, as a surgeon, as a doctor, whatever it is that you're specializing in, is to build credibility, build trust with your patients who have never been to your practice before. And if you are using an AI bot in videos and in ads, that's going to break down credibility. You're basically trying to outsource credibility, and that's not something you should be doing, okay? In aesthetic medicine, trust is your biggest revenue generator, right? Think about it. You're injecting someone's face. They're starting medical weight loss. They're spending a lot of money. This is a high ticket product. These are high ticket services on you to help them get to where they want to be, right? From point A to point B. They're not just buying a service. They're buying certainty that you're the right doctor for them. They're buying safety, that you know what you're talking about and that you're going to help them get to the outcome without any negative symptoms, not negative side effects. They're trusting you to help them get from point A to point B, right? To their most confident self. But if you're marketing, the first touch point they have with you, often the first touch point, is automated. It feels scripted. It feels fake. It feels synthetic. It's AI generated, right? They're going to be thinking to themselves, well, if they're cutting corners here in their marketing and they're not talking to me through a screen to build trust, what else are they cutting corners at? Are they using AI in their social proof, right? In their testimonials? Are they using AI in their video results, in their photo results, right? Their before and afters with clients, with patients. So think about that, okay? Subconsciously, the patient is thinking, okay, if they're fake online, they're probably going to be fake in person too. And they're probably not telling me the whole truth. The second thing is, you're not just selling a PDF or a course or something like that. I know you probably see these ads on your feed all the time, right? Or even there are literally med spa agency owners in quotes out there that are using AI in their own ads. Again, do you feel like you trust those people because they're making these wild claims? No, you can't possibly feel that way. And you're not selling a $27 course or, a $2,000 ad service, right? You're prescribing medications, right? Hormone therapy, semaglutide, tirzepatide. You're prescribing medical care. So the patient is going to want to know, who is the provider that's going to help me, right? What are their credentials? What's their clinical philosophy? Do they care about my safety? Do they care about my outcomes, right? AI avatars, AI generated bots, or doctor voiceovers, because I'm seeing those too, are going to create a gap between the patient and their trust in you, right? It's going to create distance instead of reassurance. And you need to be aware of that if you're going to hire an agency that uses AI. I highly recommend that you don't do that, okay? Another thing to keep in mind is the anxiety of booking is super real, right? Of booking for these services, especially medical weight loss, is super real because, again, you're taking someone's vulnerability, what they're struggling with, and you're basically putting that on blast when you're using AI, right? They're already feeling anxiety, and if they're seeing AI in your marketing, they're going to go to the provider down the road that's being authentic and showing up as their authentic self because they feel like they actually can connect with them through the screen, okay? Again, if your brand is using AI in ads in your marketing, the unconscious thought, the thought in the back of their head is, if they're using AI in these ads, how do I even know if their before and afters are real? How do I even know if their testimonials are real, right? You know that ChatGPT can create fake testimonials. In aesthetics, even a 1% doubt can kill a booking. It can kill a conversion. They're going to go to the Medspa down the road that has a doctor that's on the screen, that's looking at the camera, and that's talking to someone like they're in their office. Remember that, okay? Another thing that's really important to mention, not only because of Meta and their policies, because it is against policy to use like filtered images in your before and afters or AI in your before and afters, because it's a bait and switch. But medical boards care about if you're misrepresenting your results, right? Not to say that you're even using, AI in your results, but if you're using AI again in one place, how do they know that you're not using it in other places? Most state medical boards and the FTC take marketing transparency very seriously. So if testimonials are AI generated, if reviews aren't real, if the patients in ads are fake, if providers are AI voiced, you're now entering a very gray territory legally. And that can create reputation damage in healthcare, and that reputation damage can spread very quickly. So you have to be careful. Toe the line there, okay? Not only that, but it can potentially flatten your authority, right? AI, for a fact that AI writes like everybody else. It sounds like everybody else. It's just scanning the internet and plagiarizing what others have already put out there with their brains. Now, I know it's getting more advanced, but keep this in mind. If 10 med spas are typing into ChatGPT, write me an ad about lip filler results, or write me an ad about the outcome of, facial balancing filler, you're going to get the same phrasing, the same structures, similar claims, similar emotional hooks, right? Now your brand not only feels generic, right? But your authority has been diminished because you sound like everybody else. How can you possibly have authority if you're just sounding like everyone else? That's not real authority. Again, it's not credibility. You're ruining trust. You have to build authority in aesthetics on your personal philosophies, your unique clinical judgments, your unique processes, how you've taken patients from point A to point B, your unique results, because every provider, every injector has a different style. Every medical weight loss provider has a different style and a different ideal patient, right? So keep those things in mind. AI is going to take your content and potentially smooth the edges. So let's say that you write a caption, you're like, I want this to flow better. Let AI make it flow better, but then go back and make it your own, okay? I read something the other day that says AI smooths the edges, but trust is built in the edges, okay? So keep that in mind again. It's super important. Back to my initial point, patients buy from faces, okay? Especially when you're talking about medical injections, medical weight loss, HRT, PRP, testosterone therapy, right? Patients want to see your face, your mannerisms, your tone, your warmth, your confidence, your results. An AI avatar, even one of you, is not going to be able to replicate micro expressions, clinical conviction, compassion, your background, your experience, your authority that you've lived through experiences with other patients. In medical marketing, humanity converts far better than like anything polished. And if you're saying to yourself, like, I'm not that good on camera, practice. Nobody starts out good on camera. You have to practice at all of these things, okay? Now, again, AI makes it easier to fake results, again, which hurts the entire industry. If every clinic you see is using AI enhanced before and afters, AI skin smoothing, simulated results, the entire industry is going to lose credibility very quickly, and it's going to affect everything. High integrity providers pay the price. If you are a high integrity provider, you're the one that's going to pay the price for it. So don't lean into this. Do not use it in your marketing. If an agency is encouraging you to do it, do not do it. Say, I cannot do it. It is against my morals, my values, okay? Another thing, medical weight loss is already a very skeptical market. There are so many corporations out there, Hims, Hers, Roe, whatever, that are trying to basically like be the cheapest and market to everyone. And medical weight loss patients have already tried everything, been burned before, seen scams, seen fake testimonials, seen fake MLM drinks and all these things, right? But if your ads are going to even sound remotely artificial, you're going to be lumped in with them, with the MLM products, with the TikTok hacks, with the online supplement corporations that don't actually get results. If you provide a premium service, your AI in your marketing is not only going to ruin your credibility, again, and your authority and your trust, but it's going to blur the line between if you're doing the right thing or not. I go back to this, and this is like the main point I'm going to say because this is kind of run over, but trust is built in vulnerability. It's not built in perfection, okay? The people that love you, your fans on social media, are those that really like the way you speak, the way you present yourself, your credibility, your lived experiences, your raw explanations, your off-script answers, your bloopers. That's what connects us, right? That's what makes us trust people because we know that we're not perfect and we relate. AI makes everything seem overpolished, perfectly lit, scripted, clean, okay? When you're stumbling, right, while explaining the side effects of something, that's going to build more credibility than a flawless AI script. If you were to like be explaining something and you were to like make a blooper and you're like, oh my gosh, I just can't get this, like these ads right. That's going to connect and resonate more with a patient than if it's this AI generated thing that's all cleaned up. The real risk is short-term efficiency, which affects your long-term brand erosion, okay? It's going to affect your brand credibility, and it's going to make your brand erode very quickly. Yes, I understand AI is efficient. I understand you can learn it, you can use it in little things, okay? But trust is earned, and that takes time to build. I know organic, I know ads, it takes a little bit of time, but trust is earned through those marketing, through those forms of marketing, okay? So if your goal is just to get as many bookings as possible, as volume, as speed, as content output, you're going to risk the expertise that you could build, the clinical authority that you could show, the authentic connection that you could create, the relationships that you could create in your DMs and in your content, okay? Aesthetics is so important. The trust piece is so important. And if you're eroding trust, if you're eroding your brand credibility, your revenue is going to follow. Your revenue erosion is going to follow, okay? So if you're in aesthetic medicine and your marketing is using AI, I highly recommend not using it, okay? If you're running ads with an agency or marketing with an agency that's encouraging you to use AI, you should tell them, no, I want to use my own stuff. I'm going to use my own videos. I'm going to use my own content, even if it's voiceovers. Again, that's the imperfections is what builds trust. It doesn't have to be polished. It doesn't have to be perfect, okay? If patients can't distinguish between real results, real testimonials, real provider presence, and your content, you're undermining the very thing that makes someone choose you. I feel so passionately about this because I am of the mind at this point with AI where I just feel like it's gotten so out of hand. And again, I know it's easy to use efficiency wise, but when it comes to your content marketing, when it comes to your ads, when it comes to showing up, building connection, building authority, building trust, you have to be the one to show up. Even if it's uncomfortable, even if it's awkward, even if you stumble, you've got to be the one to make those mistakes, be imperfectly perfect, and show up authentically, and the revenue will follow. I promise you. Thanks for tuning in. I'll talk to you guys soon. And like I said, subscribe, and I'll see you next week for my next YouTube.